Today we are going to Epcot. I've never been there before, so I'm really excited. Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to be talking about my time at Epcot. You might have seen, if you're subscribed to me or you've watched my more recent couple of videos, that I've been doing like trip reports from my time whilst I was in Florida. So like previously I've done it kind of set in different categories, so I maybe like rides, then food, then shows, fireworks. But for these Epcot ones, I'm kind of doing more of like a narrative vlog and saying what I did on each of the 4 days that I was at Epcot. 2 of the days I did not have my camera because I went to Water Park beforehand, so I just have some footage on my phone. So I think it's the first and the 4th day, there's slightly more footage, but I'm kind of going to talk you through what I did. And I also thought this way would be better, just kind of to show you the differences between what you can get done at Epcot on a more quiet day compared to a more crowded day. And also I don't really want to have like a food section with like a whole list of food, because the food and wine festival was on whilst we were there, so I suppose I did try quite a lot of food, and it is the park that I ate at the most out of all the parks. So anyway, this is the 3rd video out of the 4 Disney theme parks, and then after that I'm going to be doing these sort of trip reports for the 2 Universal parks, that's Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. So if you want, you might want to subscribe so you don't miss those. But anyway, getting on with this video. So as I said, I went 4 times. The first day that I went was Thursday the 15th of September. First of all, we went over to Norway to go on the new Frozen Ever After ride. So this is a water ride. The queue was actually quicker than the wait time was advertised, which I was pleased about. But anyway, you're kind of like standing in the dark in the queue, but the actual ride's pretty good. You do get wet, which kind of put me off going on it again, but I would have gone on it again, but the wait times were sometimes very long. But I was pleased to go on it because that's a definite must-see, I would say. You go backwards for a little bit and you do get a bit wet, whereas I thought you wouldn't really get wet, but you do. But it's really good like animatronics, and you see Olaf. Anyway, here is some footage of me walking around the world. There's Germany. It was nice and empty early on. I think because the Food and Wine Festival was on, people are more likely to go there in the evening. There's this little train, and then there's this squirrel, which I find quite entertaining, because I find squirrels entertaining to start with, but then a squirrel amongst like miniature train set with like little houses, that is entertaining. Here I am walking over past Morocco and then going to Remy's. So Remy's is a 3D ride and it's trackless. It's kind of like being a rat in a kitchen, and it probably is one of my favourite rides at Epcot, if not... yeah, I'd say my favourite ride at Epcot, and second would be the Frozen Ever After. So it's good to get those 2 done as soon as possible before all the crowds come. Afterwards you can go and look at all the French shops and the patisseries and look around at the French brands. After that we went to the Beauty and Beast sing-along show. I think that's only there for the 50th year anniversary. I don't think it's always there, because there's another Beauty and Beast show at Hollywood Studios, I think. So yeah, we went to that sing-along show. Here I am in the UK. And then the soaring ride is kind of like the old-fashioned version of the new Avatar ride. You're kind of like strapped into a seat with your legs dangling and you feel immersed. It's not 4D because you don't get wet, I don't think. I think we've been there 3 times. Anyway, it's a pretty good ride. I know when it first opened there were long queues, but nowadays usually less than 15 minutes to get on it. After that we went on Mission Space. So Mission Space is like a space simulator. There's an orange level which is kind of a bit more intense and more realistic, or there's the green level which is less intense, but both of the rides you get sick bags, so they are expecting there to be quite a bit of turbulence. I was okay with green, I was pleased I didn't do orange, but yeah, I wasn't reaching for the sick bag. Then I went to Starbucks and I had a iced apple crisp oat milk macchiato. I think that's how you pronounce it. I always go for quite a complicated order. However, that was actually on the fall menu. There was a bit of confusion because I've got a lactose intolerance, so I just wanted to check the syrup was okay. And for some reason they thought lactose was the same as gluten, which meant I had to talk to 3 members of staff and the manager ended up making my drink. But in the end, I got my drink and it was good. I don't know, it's quite nice. I don't know why she got mixed up between gluten and... We headed over to Canada and my sister got poutine. Or poutine? Oh, I can't pronounce all these different language or different words from different countries. But anyway, it's like fries, beef gravy and cheese curds. And here's some footage of Canada. Here we are back in the United Kingdom section. It was pretty cool, however it's just like being at home in England. They had some really good Alice in Wonderland sort of like merchandise. I particularly like the ears and also the plates. I think it's all pretty cool. And I did end up buying the oven gloves later on in the trip. We headed back to France. And my sister got a sort of like 2 slices of brioche with apple crumble flavoured ice cream and chocolate sauce inside, kind of squashed down like a toasty machine, so it's kind of like the mixture between cold and hot. In Morocco, there's quite an interesting exhibition all about long distance running around the desert, which I found quite interesting, and they had these date balls. Then we went to Japan. Here's some merchandise in the Japan shops.
How much do you think it comes to us? Like 500 quid?
Each.
Probably half are quite expensive.
Then we went to America. They had this shop selling all this artwork and Disney sculptures, which isn't personally my sort of thing, but it was interesting to look at. Then we went and watched a show. It was like a half-an-hour show about the history of America. I didn't really understand it, but it was good to have a bit of air conditioning. Over to the other side of the park, and I went to Sunshine Seasons restaurant and got a peanut butter and grape jelly uncrustable. And this comes with like a little carton of apple puree and some miniature carrots. Well, when I looked at this online, I didn't really realise that it was a kids' meal. But I suppose it was a kids' meal, but I just really wanted to try an uncrustable for some reason. I don't know. And then I got this like plant-based chocolate mousse, which was, I think it was made with tofu, and it was pretty good. It was expensive though, but that's just America for you.
Carrots. As you can tell, it was a kid meal.
Well, I didn't know this before. Comes with apple juice, and I've got this. We went on a ride called Living with the Land, so it's kind of showing you innovative food growing techniques, and you kind of go around and you can see all the different things and what's going on and things that are happening. Yeah, I quite liked it. My sister thought it was a bit boring and dull, but yeah, depends what you're into really.
The tropics are home to the greatest diversity of plants on the planet. Many of these, like these lesser-known tropical plants, may be as important as the bananas growing on both sides of the boat.
Then we went on the Nemo ride, and that's called the Seas with Nemo and Friends attraction. So yeah, I don't know, it's a little bit similar to the Little Mermaid ride at Magic Kingdom, but it's quite good. Well, actually no, it's not my kind of thing. I think it's meant more for kids. Then we had a look around the Sea Base Aquarium. Then we went to the Talking with Crush show. This is probably designed definitely for primary school age children. I wasn't into it, sister enjoyed it, even though she's 25, she tends to enjoy kids sort of stuff, but yeah. If you have kids, it's definitely a must see, I would say. So it's the Talking with Crush show. It was actually raining quite a lot, which was part of the reason why we spent such a long time in that building. But anyway, we were kind of waiting around for our slot, which we had previously booked early in the day, to come up. So we went on the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. So this ride opened very recently. So it's a scary ride. It's going fast and you're going backwards. A little bit like Spaceship Earth, but I'd say definitely more scary. So you need to kind of like book a slot either at 7 a.m. or 1 p.m. Ideally, you should have multiple devices and just be refreshing the page until a slot becomes available. You can't go and queue up unless you've got a slot, because it will just be too busy and everyone wants to go on this ride. So yeah, you have to book in advance, but then you can go and queue up. Even though you booked in advance, you still have to queue up, and the queue could be about an hour. Anyway, came out of the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, which was spectacular, and it was raining so heavily, so we went over to Spaceship Earth. I accidentally put it on some sort of language. I don't even know what it was. Something foreign, no idea what was going on. So, I don't know. The fireworks ended up being cancelled, so we left that day without seeing the fireworks. Then we were back at Epcot just a few days later on Sunday the 18th of September. So we spent the majority of the day at Universal's Volcano Bay, which is right at the other side of like Orlando, really. Well, it's quite far. But anyway, we got an Uber over to Epcot because we wanted to see the fireworks and the weather was pretty good. The problem is it was too hot. It was like 32.8 degrees and no breeze and no clouds. And the thing with Volcano Bay is there was a lot of standing around. It was too hot for me to stay out of the pool. And then when I'm in the pool, I'm not really going to be one of those people that takes my sun hat. So I'm pretty sure I got heat exhaustion, and I did not feel well by the time we got to Epcot. Anyway, so I decided to get some Impossible meatballs with polenta. I just thought it was something a little bit different, and it was pretty tasty and well seasoned. A little bit salty, but it was good. My sister had a lamb kebab in Morocco, and then she went, I think, to Germany and got some Werther's caramel popcorn. As I said earlier, it's super hot, and I did not feel well. I actually felt, I don't know, it's like low blood sugar, and I just, well, not low blood pressure or something, I just felt all faint and feeble. So I actually decided to get a pumpkin spiced iced latte to perk myself up, but then it was 7 o'clock. It did perk me up a bit, but I think it was a bad idea because then I could not get to sleep until 2:30 in the morning. I was just running around with too much energy. And then when I was carrying my coffee, went over to Norway because I wanted to check out the frozen shop. And I ended up going into a bakery and I got a kringler, which is like a sweet pretzel covered in icing, sugar and flaked almonds, which I think is accidentally vegan. Well, it didn't have any milk or dairy, so I thought that was a good one for me. Then we decided to queue up for Speedway, however there were like technical issues about 45 minutes into the ride queue. So we ended up just leaving because we wanted to get good seats for the fireworks. So yeah, that was a bit of a failure. So we didn't do any rides that day at Epcot. But I suppose it was like more of an evening thing, and we spent the day on water park rides. I don't know, I just felt really like sort of nauseous, faint and dizzy just from having too much sun. But anyway, watch the fireworks. So I was doing this filming on my phone, so it's not super good quality. And then here are some pictures of the ball. Then we went back again a few days later on Wednesday the 22nd of September. I've actually written in my diary, head hurt and throat felt like a razor. I don't know, I'm just a bit dramatic, but I don't know, I was just woke up really sick. But anyway, my sister was like, okay, we can take a slow day and we can go to Typhoon Lagoon. So that's the Disney water park, which was open whilst we were there. The other one was closed. Blizzard Beach was closed. So we kind of like took it slow and went to the water park. So that's a bit more relaxing than having to stand in long queues. Anyway, it actually ended up raining at Typhoon Lagoon, but we had a slot for Guardians of the Galaxy because we definitely wanted to do that again. By the way, to get that Guardians of the Galaxy, my sister ended up setting her alarm for 6:55 AM and then sitting on the Disney app refreshing it until she got a slot. And the actual slot we got was like 5:30 PM. So yeah, it is hard, but I'm trying to get a space, but it is worth it. Yeah, so I really like Guardians of the Galaxy. Anyway, after that we ended up going over to Spaceship Earth, which is a ride inside the actual Epcot ball. So I said earlier in this video, I accidentally did it in foreign language. Anyway, we managed to select English, and it made so much more sense. Then we headed over to Soarin', so all this time we were like running around with our ponchos on because it was so rainy outside, which is good because a lot of the attractions are inside at Epcot. Then we did Journey into the Imagination with Figment. I'm not particularly keen on it, it's a bit old school, and I don't like it, you know when they like let out a gassy smell? I don't like that. My sister got a passion fruit cheesecake, and then we headed over to Test Track. This time there were no difficulties and we actually got through it. Still not a very long queue, it was like nearly an hour to get on this ride, but I'm pleased I did it. It is one of the really popular rides. But anyway, while you're waiting to get on, you can like design your own car, and then it's kind of like you get marks and then there's like a winner at the end. I wouldn't rush back and do Test Track though, but I know it is a favourite of a lot of people. Anyway, then we looked around Mexico, and I really like these ears. Was a fairly short day, and the reason why we went to Epcot that day is because we were going over to Wilderness Lodge to do some character dining with Snow White and the Dwarfs and the Evil Queen. So anyway, yeah, it was just a quick sort of pit stop after, so it was like water park, Epcot, and then character dining. So it was a long day, but only a short time at Epcot. I am going to review that character dining experience and put it up on YouTube. I just haven't got around to it yet, but it will probably be a few weeks after this video. Then 2 days later, on Friday the 23rd of September, we were back at Epcot for the last night of the holiday. I don't know, my sister just wanted to watch the fireworks again for the second time. It was a bit annoying, like it kept raining in the evening, so we like wanted to go and do them again for the second time. So actually the daytime on that final day of the holiday was spent at Magic Kingdom, and it was raining very heavily. But anyway, we got 2 monorails over to Epcot, which is good, to use a bit of Disney transport. And the park was very busy, and part of that reason was because there was a Halloween party that evening at Magic Kingdom, which means that people can't stay at Magic Kingdom for the fireworks, so they head over to Epcot for the fireworks, just because the other 2 parks close a bit earlier and don't have much going on in the evenings. Also, particularly in the evenings, there's a lot of people with like personalised t-shirts and like drinking around the world, so you'd go and have a drink at each of the countries. So yeah, quite a few adults and maybe less families in the evening, particularly Epcot. Anyway, so we watched the Amazing Earth show, which was just like 10 minutes in a theatre. Pretty good footage. So it's not really a ride, but might as well do it because it was raining a lot. Everything just has a really long wait time, but we wanted to go and do the Ratatouille ride again because it was one of our favourites. So we kind of raced up to the other side of the park, and it was advertised as being a 50-minute wait time, and it ended up being 90 minutes. Which I think is probably the longest I ever waited for a ride over the whole holiday, 90 minutes. But it is a good ride, so I'm pleased that I had to do that long wait time for a ride that's actually good. But yeah, it kind of did mess up our plans, because then by the time we got I wanted to go on the Frozen Ever After ride, but the wait time there was 90 minutes. So we were actually nearly about to join the queue, but then I was like, is this really the best use of like the last 2 or 3 hours of the holiday to be spending half that time in the Frozen queue and then not get a good space for fireworks and etc. So we ended up going to China, which we had kind of missed out on the previous 3 days, and we looked around there and looked at the merchandise. And they have got an exhibition about the Disney World over in Shanghai. Then we went to India, and my sister got a chicken tikka masala, and it came with these little naan breads, and I got 2 pea and potato samosas. I don't know, just because I've got lactose intolerance, I think it's a bit of a faff trying to work out if certain things are certain things. So at Epcot, pretty much everything I ate was vegan and advertised as being vegan or plant-based. Anyway, then we headed back over to Mexico, and I got a margarita. It's the first ever one I've had in my life. Thought I might as well since it's the last day of the holiday, but anyway, it was blood orange, and then around the rim was chili and lime, which was tasty. Then I went over to Mac and Eats, and I got the plant-based macaroni, and it had like a little bit of mince and cheese on top. So it's all quite small portions at Epcot, particularly for this festival, so it's kind of the idea that you'd hop around and be able to try all these different cuisines. Then back over in America, my sister got a funnel cake, which was quite a long queue, and it was getting dark. Then we rushed over to try and find a good spot for the fireworks, and I got a guava mousse as well, which is something that's kind of limited edition and only there for this festival. Yeah, so we got a good spot for the harmonious fireworks, and we watched that. However, maybe 5 minutes, a few minutes into the show, this 7-foot man decides to put his 5-foot child onto his shoulders. So my sister was assertive and told him not to do that. And then other people are kind of applauding my sister, which is a little bit awkward.
To lift the human spirit.
Yeah, good fireworks, and that was the end of the holiday that night. But anyway, as I said earlier, I've got other trip reports coming like this, so if you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up, and you might want to subscribe if you want to see more content like this.